Welcome to the Friday night edition of Ridgecrest Talk. I'm Robert Eierman along with Al Huey, and our special guest is Councilwoman Lori Acton. Thanks for being here. And actually, of course, we just broke a little while ago from the Thursday night edition, but you'll be seeing this on Friday night. And we've been discussing the conflict of interest situation that exists because of Lori Acton's employment with TOS and working at Fenestra, who is an affiliate of Protexa, who received $875,000 in TAB funds. And the concern that has been expressed in the public is that some felt, that a conflict of interest existed. That matter was addressed by City Attorney Keith Lemieux, and he issued a 4-page letter on
7th of January.
Yeah, the 7th of January, stating that no conflict of interest exists, and so we're exploring some of the public's concerns and to help quell them and to make it clear that no conflict of interest has existed or does exist, and there was nothing that was done wrong by anybody. So again, thanks for being here, Lori.
Sure.
And just to kind of recap last night's program, we asked you a lot of questions, which you provided answers to, that in my opinion supports what City Attorney Lemieux stated in his report, that there was no conflict of interest. And one of the things that I wanted to revisit from last night was, could you tell us a little bit about your search for employment and how long and how the October meeting at TOS came about?
Okay. In July of 2012, I remember this distinctly because McQuiston said he wasn't going to run again. And that's what made me decide to run for council. But I also knew I needed a job. So I have been looking since then. USA Jobs, Fleet and Family Support, EDD, SAS, TOS, everybody I could think of. And constantly just looking, putting it out there. Most everybody now wants everything online, so you don't really get FaceTime unless you can get through the search engine, and that's difficult sometimes. So I just kept doing it, and I went into TOS in October, and I was like, hey. And they're like, hey. And so I filled out the...
So this was like, I'm sorry for interrupting.
Sorry, it's okay.
This was like a, quote, routine visit to TOS.
I just wanted to see if there were any jobs available. Same thing I do everywhere.
You had followed up on these
Yes.
employment agencies on a semi-regular basis, every
Yes.
quarter or something like that.
Yes.
Hey, have you found anything?
Right, because I apply online and then I think, well, do they have anything? Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I didn't do something
Yeah, maybe
right.
it fell through the crack or whatever.
Yeah, and so I took the test, scored really good. And so they sent me over to talk to Keyshore, Fenestra, Protexa. Fenestra has a board. And here I am. I'm like, great, this is wonderful. So I did give them the information because I had asked the attorney in the past because I didn't know, and I needed to know the answer because I need to be educated if I'm going to be representing the public. Yes, I understand that he said caution. Again, it was so many months later in my mind that it just didn't occur to me that it would be perceived this way. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that. So I went through the process, and I'm hired, and I'm doing a really good job, and I'm really busy.
Okay. And so things are very dynamic over there then, relative to your work.
Yes, we've got 2 people hired on for Fenestra, 3 for Protexa. We've had the development team come out for a summit. We are getting ready to roll out in spite of all the setbacks that they have experienced with trying to get internet and having no heat. Let me tell you, it was cold in that building for quite some time, gentlemen.
Wow.
I had to get my thermals out. It was freezing. We couldn't do anything without internet. So it was challenging. We just got our phone systems up too. But It's going forward. It's moving forward. We have hard dates, certificate test dates, which, unless you're in the medical, means nothing to you. But yeah, we're moving forward rapidly, and it's going to be good. And I'm excited for what this is going to bring to the community.
So it would appear, from your perspective, at Fenestra, that Protexa is going to meet its criteria for the agreement.
Yes, they are going to be unveiling later on this month their prototype. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to steal that thunder.
Understand. Okay.
Okay, I just want to read this as a statement. It's not really asking a question, but it's
Okay.
something that's coming from out in the public. Members of the public are looking at City Attorney Lemieux's report skeptically, especially since you, as a sitting council member, technically are Mr. Lemieux's employer. And he serves at the pleasure of the City Council, which you are a member of. Mr. Lemieux based his opinion on that January 7th letter on very limited information submitted to him. It was not shown personal and city emails, including your cell phone records. Before you comment, the only thing as a government official that would be required to be released would be the government city emails. Personal emails, that would be a choice that you would have to make. But what this is implying is the city attorney based his opinion on limited information. And that kind of gets to the next question that I'm going to follow it up on.
Okay.
But I just want to kind of set the ground for that question so that everybody understands and you understand where we're coming from when we ask the next question. Again, some of you might be wondering, gosh, you guys look like you were wearing the same thing you were wearing last night. We are.
We are. Yeah.
Because we didn't leave here. We recorded right after we recorded part one. But come back, join us after this break, and we'll have more with Councilwoman Lori Acton, who, again, we appreciate so much for coming down and being grilled tonight.
Yeah. It's okay.
So, again, we're hard on the issues, but we're soft on the people. So, come back after this break, and we'll have more with Lori Acton. We're back. They're back. They're coming. That's us. Okay, before we went to break, I kind of laid the ground for this next question. And let's just jump into it.
Okay.
Members of the public are saying this should be sent to the grand jury so that a more thorough look can be done. To put the public's mind at ease, would you agree to make public all your personal and city emails, including all your cell phone records?
I guess if I had to. There's nothing there. But he did a thorough investigation. It wasn't just
Did he look at your emails? Do you know?
I have no idea, but I know I was grilled for a long time and unexpectedly because I didn't know it was coming.
From Keith
Yes.
Lemieux.
Yes. And so
So we could correct the misstatement that we made, or that was made here, about it being based on limited information.
it was not limited information to my knowledge because he talked to several people. And again, I've just been open. And when it says that he serves at the pleasure of the council, that's correct.
Right.
I'm 1 vote of 5. I can't just get rid of somebody because I don't like him asking questions. I
Right.
wouldn't, but I couldn't anyway. That's all I got for you.
Well, I think it gets to, and I don't know if the next question, yeah, it kind of goes there. I won't go there yet.
Okay.
But so you, to back up, you would be willing, you said, if required, but the question is not really saying if required. It says, would you agree to make public that information?
I don't know if I would make my personal records available
No,
unless there was a really good reason.
like
And I understand.
you don't
what the
have a
public's saying.
city cell phone.
No, I do not. It is my own.
So, as far as I'm aware, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Robert, the only thing that could be accessed would be her government emails.
Yeah, I would say that's true.
And her personal cell phone and her personal emails, that would be up to, I guess, a court of law going after, but I don't even know if they could.
Well, and I think that we're going a little too far here. I think that you would only want to go there if there was some reason to go there.
Right, right.
And I'm pretty convinced that the truth of the situation is that there was no impropriety here, no conflict of interest, no skullduggery, no however you want to put it, that was done wrong. And I think that proceeding much further with this would only be harmful not only to Councilwoman Acton, to Protexa, and maybe more importantly to the city and to the good functioning of the city council.
Right.
I think that once all of this settles in with the people, I think that this is a topic that should be pretty well dropped as being shown to be a red herring. I mean, maybe it would have looked bad to some people.
Well, it just gets back to verify. That's really all it is. Like
Trust,
we're trying to
but
do
verify.
with the TOS and SAS and fleet management. And I would think that the city attorney could access those government emails if he needed to.
Yeah, and I think that the big correction here is that it wasn't a quick and dirty investigation. I think that if we asked Keith Lemieux, he would verify what you just said, that was a pretty extensive investigation. Since his responsibility is to protect the city,
right.
and since anything that may have occurred could endanger the city, I suspect that he's pretty thorough.
I also didn't just talk to him. I also talked to the other attorney, Michael Seilander, and they also talked to TOS.
And what was Seilander's?
He's the one who drafted the agreement, was the primary person.
And was he an employee of Protexa
No,
or the city?
He works for Lemieux
and
Associates.
He's an employee of the city.
Yeah, I guess. Yes, right.
Okay.
But so it was more than just Keith.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I
So-
really kind of just, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Well,
you're
and you
taken
should
back because I think that the statement that it was that they had limited information was just an incorrect one. That they had a lot of information to base their decision on.
Okay. We'll go to the last question, but I don't know how much time we have left.
Plenty.
Good.
I didn't hear that. Okay. Last question. Members of the public are also disturbed that citizen tax dollars have been spent on legal fees to look into this matter on your behalf. Will you be reimbursing the city for these legal fees? Let me preempt that question a little, though, because I think that you told us that when you contacted the city attorney on July 7th, you were more concerned about the aspect of putting the city in jeopardy.
That's
not so
correct.
much yourself.
It wasn't about me. It's been about the city because I
Okay.
would do nothing. I didn't run to jeopardize it.
So the attorney contacted you and questioned you extensively, like you said, but that was a requirement of state law, that he had to investigate this.
Yeah, we need to point that out.
Right.
And he pointed it out in his report somewhat. But once there's any concern that he may have that the city could be in jeopardy, then he is obligated by the state bar to investigate this, and the city's obligated to pay. So it's not that there was any additional expense caused to the city by anything that Lori did, and my earpiece dropped out again.
You're always losing your ears.
Yeah, I got
All
it.
right. That is the last question we have, but when we come back here in a little bit, we're going to talk a little bit on the lighter side with respect to these companies that received the TAB funding.
Sure.
In particular, we'd like to know more about Protexa and Fenestra,
Okay.
and a little bit about TOS, since they're involved in this mix too. But I think we've pretty well covered most of the concerns that are out there in the public right now with what we've discussed thus far. But anyway, don't go away. We'll be back with more with Councilwoman Acton right after this break.
And welcome back to our final segment of the Friday evening edition of Ridgecrest Talk with Robert Eierman, Al Huey, and our special guest, Councilwoman Lori Acton. I think we've pretty much covered all the questions that we had, and I think that we've pretty much, hopefully, put to bed people's concerns about...
I hope so.
I hope so, yeah. I don't know what more could be done.
Send your emails to Fritz, the city manager, or the station manager. You're welcome, Fritz.
Yeah, but I think we've put it to bed, and I think that everybody should feel pretty darn comfortable that there isn't anything that's been done wrong here, and they should just feel happy for Councilwoman Acton having employment, and for the city council having a nice blend of people on it, and allow them to...
I will interject something here.
Sure.
We met with Lori a couple nights ago and talked about this because we didn't want her to come in here blindsided on some of these really pointed questions. And we thank you so much for that time the other night.
You're welcome.
But
and it should be said that it took a lot of bravery
Yes, it
on
did.
your part to come in and do this.
And we
I know
just
how difficult it is.
discussed and were told some things, and I don't want to get into those, but Mrs. Acton had a lot of fires burning, or
Yes.
plates she was trying to juggle.
Buffet.
Consider yourself with a bit of a family to take care of, and you know the issues there, which I'm not going to get into, but we all have them with family members, and being out of work for 2 years. The stipend from being a city council member was, in essence, all you were receiving.
Yeah.
And so things were a little tough in the Acton household. And I don't want to go any further than that.
Thank you.
But if anybody would wish to sit down and talk with Lori more on this Protexa, Fenestra, I believe she'd be willing to sit down and talk with you if you're really honest about it, and don't come in like you're on a witch hunt. We need to look at these issues like we say we are here, hard on the issues, soft on the people. And I think we've been hard on the issue tonight and last night.
Yes, and last night, yes, definitely.
So a little bit on the light side, tell us a bit what's been going on since you've been working for TOS.
Well, I'm working for TOS, and they put me in Protexa or Fenestra, Protexa, all of it. It's crazy. I'm excited. I'm excited because I get to see firsthand what's going on with one of the companies, and it's kind of exciting. I like that. Cubicles are up, computers are up, everything's ready to go. Again, prototype will be out later this month, and that's really exciting. You just prepare to be stunned and amazed, I'm telling you now.
Does it look like they might be hiring more people once this gets rolling?
Yes, we are hiring. And it's been great because in spite of what the article implied, it did get a lot more people to apply at TOS, so we could do more interviews and have more people on board. So thanks.
That's interesting.
He got a job there. Maybe I can get a job.
Well, yeah. What they always say, there is no such thing as bad publicity.
No.
Just spell my name right. Everything. But interesting.
Yeah, so it's good, and like I said, we hired more people. It's 2 for Fenestra now and 3 for Protexa, and we're just moving forward. We have some hard dates for our certifications, and it's really neat to see because the product is amazing, and all the applications, and they've just scratched the surface of what this product can do. The amount of people, we will be saving lives, and I know that. And
That's a good
Boy,
thing.
that's
Yeah.
a wonderful thing.
that's an amazing thing, and I feel honored actually to be a part of that.
Now, a part of this had to do with applying for, it just left me, the tax-free zone.
Yes.
And I did look at the meeting of August 6th, and it went back and forth, and I think it ended up with Protexa's going to deal with that.
Nope.
No?
The city is, and the council felt that the city should because, in essence, it's a benefit to the city.
Because other companies will come in
Yes.
hopefully down the road
can
and
use that tax-free zone.
That's
Do
right.
you know where that is as far as?
I have not heard from Mr. Parsons on that. I know that that's in his court. I don't know. He's been very busy with the EH group coming in and finally that contract signed.
I remember. The city was going to contract that out to somebody, right?
They did ask for Protexa to take the lead if needed, and they did agree to do that. But so far, we haven't even scratched
Okay.
not a word yet. But that's,
And it takes about a year for that whole process, is the way I understand it, once you apply. And
yeah, it's at least 6 months. But I think we're okay because
to
our
be quite
parts
honest, I'm
are
a
here.
bit skeptical that it's going to happen. Just the fact that we have a Navy R&D base here, and now you're saying, hey, we want China to come in and have a tax-free zone here. I could be wrong, but it seems like a little skeptical that they're
it's
going to
not-
give a go on that.
It's a little different than how you described it, but it's just to get a couple of parts here. And then the taxes on those parts will be paid to the city of Ridgecrest because everything will be
Once
sold
they're
out of here.
sold. Yeah.
And that is a huge benefit for the city.
That is.
And the
absolutely.
county did the same thing, the county of Kern, when they structured all of your alternative energy. All of those parts have to be brought in and paid for within the county as much as possible. So it's a really, really good thing to do. I'd rather us have the tax money than Long Beach because it came in on a ship down there.
Right.
But
Well,
most of the
absolutely true.
right, and we're trying to get as much as we can within the states and not out of the states. So that's a big thing too, because we don't want the intellectual property that took them so long to develop in other people's hands.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So
So, I know you can't predict, and nobody has a crystal ball, but do you think that the business that Protexa has will be a great business for Ridgecrest?
I think it will be amazing for Ridgecrest, and it's going to continue to grow, and they're going to continue to employ people. It's just wonderful, and I'm excited, and I'm excited for our city and people like me who, not an engineer, but McDonald's doesn't pay the bills, and
We're going to have to cut you off there
I know.
because we're out of time again.
But I want to thank you again for coming down tonight.
Yes, thank you for
welcome.
being so straightforward, so honest, and taking your time to help straighten this matter out.
Tune in next week for.
We'll be here.
Yep.
I will.